double hold into the heaven area, but Sick and Shazam combining for 2. However, there's only 1 remaining. It's probably the best player that you want in these types of situations. Tens playing around the spike area, and it's not going to be able to really formulate to anything. Zekin grabs himself a 3rd, and just like that, Noble have themselves a pistol round and a lead over Sentinels.
Right, and now getting this momentum going, Noble are going to have the guns. They're not wasting anything. We talked about it in our pre-show before we went live, is that Zekin is an animal. I think we just saw it perfectly in that round, and the post-plant setup from Noble as well was really well put together. A lot of concentration from the swings from Heaven and both defender spawn, right? You had 2 players under Heaven prepared for the early fights, but now Sentinels with just pistols. I don't think we expect too much. Noble are going to be looking to convert this round going into the 3rd as their bonus to get that economy going. As we all know, MR13 can be very punishing, and against a team like Sentinels, you need all the momentum and all the credits you can get.
It's funny, Noble going for yet another one of those quick takes and a fast combo out from Tens and Zoms. Right off the take, I like that discipline. Sentinels, they take on that first contact. One of their teammates ends up going down the corner. They all group back into main, and they boot on out, trying to split between Heaven and elsewhere. But Noble, with full free real estate here on site, could get a little bit dicey for them, though. That man disadvantage alongside Sentinels and how fast they've actually made their retakes known here on Haven. It could get deadly, as indeed they go in. Sick, immediately getting a kill onto Jangler right off the curveball. Menace with another one, but there's still one more on site. Second up close. Oh, Menace ends up getting 2 at the same time. Could complete it with an ace. Spectre still out. Reloads. Menace, you gotta be joking me, starting off with a bang.
That is one way to kick the Lords down. Sentinels, that looked like it was theirs. The pistol eco round was almost flawless, but Menace, dude, as his name says, that is crazy. Sentinels.
This guy's a demon.
Dude, my goodness, Menace. The movement, the steez with the blast back. Noble are getting it going. A 2-0 start, but it's not the bonus they wanted. They're going to try and convert this one into a bonus regardless with lesser guns, but that round was punishing, very punishing to Noble, as this was the round where they were hoping that you can get the ball going, right? The credits would have been on your side, but they're not, unfortunately.
Okay, Menace immediately. Wow, double satchel immediately into the plant. That's genius.
Spike down, though. I mean, Sentinels, they do have an opportunity with that run it back, I think, but Noble, they have conceded the entire site. They know they've got an advantage, and the ultimate Menace doesn't connect, but he's trying to safeguard the site. He needs to stay up close. They are flushing him out with shot guards, and unfortunately, they've lost that control here. It's Noble.
Fortunately enough for Menace, but you still have Jangler fighting up with a Frenzy. King with another one back onto Shazam. 6, still that Phantom goes that off the run it back. Precision needs that frag onto Zoms, and Zoms and Sick finish it off. But well done from Noble. They get it done. They get the job done. They end up getting that spike down. And not only that, Sully, but taking away the rifles from Sentinels was the biggest thing. They're forced to reinvest into that next round. And Noble, right off of this bonus, they can continue their economy high if they end up winning this next round.
Right, exactly. I think you said it perfectly. That Sentinels, they're not going to have all 5 rifles against a very strong Noble bind. It was really wise of them as well, Noble, to decide to not fully invest into that round, right? They understood that that would have been our bonus. We wanted to convert that into a bonus. They followed through with their game plan. They ensured that no matter what, even if they were to lose, they were going to have more credits. And due to the fact that Sentinels, they invested everything into that round. Right now, Tens won't be able to get the second, or the 4th round operator. He's going to stick down to a Marshall. It is still a menacing buy. They've got 3 rifles for Sentinels. It's not, they're not out of the woods just yet here in Noble, but it's a little bit of a different take towards the seaside, and Tens is able to connect a single shot, but the regrowth is going to get them healed right back up.
Interesting stuff. That's Sentinels. Off of the fact that most of their players had around 3,000 credits going into this round, they've had to make some pretty tough decisions in terms of economy. You know what? The reason why I don't like this Marshall skin is because of that little ding that it makes me think that it gets a kill,
yeah,
right?
Exactly, right? I mean, I play a lot of aim labs, so whenever I hear the ding, I'm like, oh, he hit a shot, but no, Tens, he's good, right? But to just shoot blindly, he's not that good to shoot blindly and connect shots. But Noble, they have significantly slowed things down. After losing that, I think that control in towards mid with Tens being that menacing presence, they have decided to default back to this A site where only Zoms is the Guardian. Now, however, we know Zoms to be super clean in this position. He can drop a smoke and send a Paranoia down short, isolate these fights, but it's this utility dump that Noble have that I think is really going to overwhelm him here, and thankfully, he is going to get a little bit of support.
30 seconds left.
very quickly in terms of util. Out goes one of the birds, the guiding
Wow.
lights, and Menace using up one of his satchels, gets on top of Triple Box and takes down Zoms as he was trying to get ready for the ramp initiation. But instead, Menace takes him down. Noble have sight. But look how quickly they're trying to shut down the spike. Precision takes down Sick. Tens is still alive with that Marshall, but nobody's peeking him.
Right, and now this became 10 times harder for Sentinels. No flashes, no main smoker. Obviously, you do still have the Cloud Burst, but even then, that might not be enough. But a great combo here as Jangler's forced out of position.
And Tens takes him down, and the Hunter's Fury still gets another one.
Oh.
And Tens trying to overwhelm, but it doesn't matter. King is there for the trade, and oh, look at the HP on Shazam. 33, a gust of wind would have taken him down, or at least another bullet from that clip. But Shazam shuts down King, and Sentinels, well, they were sweating for a little bit, but Noble, their run essentially has ended.
That was a great retake as well from Sentinels. They kind of understood the positions that Noble really did like to take, right? That under heaven clearance with a Hunter's Fury and Tens. He poked his head right outside of heaven just to get the pick as soon as he finds the first on the second. A nice bird's eye view. We saw Tens take that early peek. Really well done from Sentinels here. And I think it's a very crucial round as well because, well, you're not necessarily going to fully reset Noble here, right? They can take one eco round. They'll be right back into the buy, but you boost yourself just a little bit. You want to keep as many players here alive, get the money rolling, get the credits going, and then you might have a little bit more of a comfortable position.
Scanning ahead. Deploying drone.
And Noble this time, one of their first times actually doing this. It's more of a default. They have two over towards the long area, two right into courtyard mid. One actually staying up in long, and that might be the interaction that we have to look out for because look how close those two actually are. Same thing with Precision. He has a massive lane to try to get a frag. Everyone from Noble is just going for, you know, for lack of better words, very noble individual interactions.
Yeah, Jangler as well spotting out the cam, understands now that C is in full control here of Sentinels, and with Tens finding a pick down towards mid, the regroup, I think, has to be towards C, because you understand that Sentinels have that control.
And Dapper's
They're
got
not
all
going to
this
make
info.
that stack. Never mind, they've actually rotated 2 players back. A phenomenal raid here from Sentinels as Dapper cleans up 1.
Yeah, no, and the only reason why is because Dapper was very up close and personal in the cubby of long.
Yeah.
He got all of those footsteps. Once he heard just a singular one, he was just like, all right, yeah, or more than just one. He was able to call out the rotation, but Precision, all right. Very precise, getting himself a massive kill and getting himself a second right onto Sick.
No way, no way.
With the updraft, Tens missing out on his own shots. Precision too, but Noble somehow able to get yet another spike plant on the A site.
This is crazy winnable as well, right? Because they
Second.
have the low HP for Tens. He goes around the corner, Second's there to punish, and that shot
Done.
dart could be punishing, but no, it's just Jangler. I thought for a second it was going to take down Zoms, but from up top, it's all good. Sentinels, they do clean things up. 3-2, but again, super punishing round. The economy for Sentinels, dude. There's a lot of pressure on them right now.
Right. Dude, I swear you've probably been watching like too much of like the Animal Channel or something like that. Shark Dart.
Shark dart.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, Sentinels. Actually talking about that round, it had to be a little bit of a cleanup. They've been trying to build up their economy for the last 2 rounds, and they really haven't been able to do so. It's almost commendable to me that Noble are actually able to win out some of these individual battles and just keep forcing Sentinels to reinvest. Now we get to a point where we are at the 6th round, and neither one of these teams have supremacy with the wallets.
No, it's been a super back and forth kind of setup here. That's obviously in part to the fact that Noble have been able to take so many guns out of their hands, but they've also managed their economy extremely well, right? They're only going to have 1 intermediate round with that economy. Menace, a bit scary there, but he will take a blast pack out of there. He's going to get healed up, so they now have information here, at least for Sentinels, and 2 players are leaning towards this A side. Dapper's being that spot towards C, where they have the illusion of control, but right now, Noble, they love doing these defaults and regrouping for a hit, but currently Sentinels, they're really giving no leeway. The only control they have is towards A, and even then, 2 players lie in wait. Both Shazam and Zoms are locked up here on A. Don't know exactly what Noble can do here, as it looks like Sentinels, again, have all of this control on the other side of the map.
At least here in Haven, this is what Noble has been building towards, at least with these last 2 rounds. Trying to see what sort of space they can make in their own individual choke points, and it's just mainly trying to get the entries. He's trying to get a man advantage. In that case, Noble They regroup towards the A-long area, and they still end up getting a trade back, an immediate lockdown as they head up into short. But Zoms, he could stay safe. He's in hell, and I mean, it's all or nothing. He just wants to hold it down, ends up getting the kill. Now he can go free. The Hunter's Fury going in, gets pressured out, and he's still not dead. Still precision, getting one back. Dapper gets him down, and King with a 2K. 6 to holding it down. 8 seconds left. Look at the HP. No way, King. Sick, took a moment, thought about the shot, sat up on the perch, and didn't go down at all. Sentinels somehow winning out that interaction again. A great rotation right on point, Sully.
Right, yeah, we can kind of see the game plan from Noble is they're trying to get very early control, maybe win off those picks, but they're not getting early picks. The thing with Noble that I have written down is they are very, very good at getting opening kills, right? Most of their opening kills come within the first 20 seconds, but Sentinels, they're just as good as doing that. So when neither team is finding opening picks, and especially when you're an attacking side like Noble, it's very hard to adjust, and to not be able to find that opening pick as well out towards long really did punish them, and unfortunately, it's a little bit of a wonky buy. Precision's gone for Vandal, no armor. And the rest of Sentinels, that was a huge round, I think, to build up their economy, but unfortunately, again, they only walk out with one player.
Oh, unfortunate for Tens, but more than fortunate for King that he wins out that interaction. And there you go. Sick with the run it back. He has all the confidence in the world, gets the wrap up in snipers, and takes down 2 in the mid side, including the spike, which is fully in the hands of Sentinels. Dapper rotating back into C-Link, takes down Jangler on the outside of the Nebula. Noble now down to 2 without a spike.
Yeah, the spike is in full control here of Sentinels. This is, I think, again, all about economic damage. You pulled 4 players around from the last. Try and do the same thing here. You've already got one. It's both Zekin and King. Zekin is probably one of the more destructive players. He's definitely been one of the most consistent for Noble. So if they could get a little bit more here, it would be nice, but unfortunately, Zekin's going to be shut down. It's just up to King with a Phantom. Given the current state of the economy, Gus, this is, again, we kind of run it back how Sentinels need to get this going, but this is the round I think might break the ice. And now that we've hit kind of that halfway point, we're going into round number 8 after this one. Sentinels are kind of pulling away with it just a little bit right now.
And I did like the point that you mentioned about Zekin just just kind of flying by, saying that he was a pretty good impactful player on the server. He's been one of the most impactful players in this tournament period. He currently has a 1.52 rating on the spike, and he's second in the entire tournament. He has gotten that far, and right behind him is actually Tens, who's actually sitting up in top 5. So this is almost like a dream matchup of just the powerhouses of this tournament thus far. Of course, Tens is the one that we've expected, but the story with Zekin is that this is only his second opportunity to play in the big leagues. They've only been able to play VCSs, essentially, Sully. So now Noble, they've essentially stretched out to top 16s, and both times that they participated in Riot sanctioned events. But here against Sentinels, they haven't exactly been able to get things started on Haven, as you mentioned.
Oh, Dapper's going to get all this information. They're even set up a Cosmic Divide for the backside, and it's all about pulling Dapper away. They get this kill. They should be fine, but Dapper, haphazard spray through the smoke, does net him 1. That's going to slow them down instrumentally here on the execution.
Second showstopper from Menace thus far, and he just has to launch it. Tens right from below. He just Goomba stopped Tens. Oh my God. Steps on Tens, and he walks right by him. Menace goes down. The Cosmic Divide ends up being an absolute negative for Noble in that sort of scenario, but they've doubled back to the 8 site, which is empty once again.
Right, yeah, that showstopper was really the selling point, and Sentinels maybe pulled just a little bit. They got the Hunter's Fury out, so this post plan, if King wants to maybe get even more aggressive, take some players' lives, then he's got a chance. No, opportunity missed, and he's got to concede.
That stings, but again, that Nano Swarm is going to have to go big. And immediately with the Paranoia combo, Sentinels now with a lane onto sight. Zekin watching out through short. That Blaze Wall has actually covered up one of their players. Jangler right in the middle, pulls up a Nebula up onto Heaven to try to isolate Shazam, but Shazam takes him down anyways. Oh, Sentinels, man, still with a 6, but Noble, considering the fact that they only had 3 players, they needed King to go big on that back line. His goal there was just to restrict the man advantage.
Right, you really needed King to get the first pick onto maybe one of the key components, and that would have been Shazam, who had his Recon Bolt to try and line up some information, had the Shock Darts to put a little bit of pressure, but unfortunately, the opportunity slips on by, and Sentinels, they collapse onto the site. A great retake as well off of that Paranoia. Dashing on in, Sick, really good at isolating those kills. It came down to Jangler, who, I will give him some credit, was doing a pretty good job for himself, trying to isolate 1v1s, right? He threw up the Nebula in heaven, like you said. But, I mean, 3v1, 51 HP. The chances are very slim here. And Noble, like I said earlier, is that Sentinels are feeling like they're starting to run away with it. And with this economic disaster for Noble, but that's a disastrous kill. They do still have a little bit of confidence, Noble, definitely with these Sheriffs.
They've shown their flair.
Oh, that is...
At least with the Sheriffs. I mean, we've seen it from Precision, but oh my god, that's spam, man. Zekin is just chilling. He's seeing all those bullets whiz by, but look at the C site, Sully. It's empty once again. Sentinels, they have a tendency of just leaving one lane open, and Noble have been very actually able to clear those up.
Oh, I like the control, though. It's like they don't have control of C, but they have so much over towards A, and that needed to be Zekin's kill 100%. Now, you can see how split these Noble players are, and Tens is going to look and open the ball.
Yeah, 4 players in one line. Had to come down to Jangler. Now Tens able to get himself 2 on the return back. Dapper taking up Precision, and yeah, that's yet another clear-cut retake. Not a lot of util towards that back line. Sentinels almost given like a red carpet towards site. Just you know, make your way on. Say hi to the paparazzi. Post for the defuse. They already have the dub here for the half, Sully, and that's what Noble's been scared of, because Haven isn't exactly their best map.
Yeah, I mean, it again comes down to kind of this identical map pool, how both teams love to play both Split, Haven, and Ascent, and those, I think that those were obviously the expected maps, with both Instabans being Icebox and Bind. However, there's a little bit of a silver lining, right? A 5% difference in their favored side, a 50% win rate on the attack, a 55% win rate on the defense for Noble. So not all hope is lost, but you jump back to the fact that this is probably Sentinel's best, one of their best maps, with a 90% win rate themselves. It was never going to look pretty for Noble, but I think this was the start they needed to get going.
Sick with that run it back. He's been so pivotal just off of this ulti alone, and it runs out. Not able to get any contact. That boombot's so scary. Well done from Menace actually pulling that back. One that there's actually been double short coverage a whole lot of the time. And good info peek purely from Menace, but that's his last satchel. Can't really do much off of that. And look at that paranoia nailing right onto Precision. They know that he's there. Sick, he was looking for that info earlier, but he's still gonna get taken down from that angle. Precision holds on. Menace pulling away attention just from his spam alone, and now Noble, they find themselves in a man advantage.
Right, that was the opening pick that Noble's been looking for, and I think where most of their success comes from. When they get the opening pick, they're always able to convert it into something. They've shut down probably one of the biggest retake aspects for Sentinels, right? You lose Sick, you lose that entry potential in the form of a Phoenix. You're left down to just Tens, who's posted up on the B site. So Ravwell goes in. Dapper's going to have to leave the site. He doesn't want to overcommit to this fight. The site is open. Cage is up to prevent any control into the back here. But it is Menace to try and make a lurk. But even that, Dapper, he's just got 2 through a smoke.
There you go, Dapper. You thought Noble had a little bit of a chance, right? But that man advantage has been erased in an instant. With that spike going down, Sentinels actually thought that it was doubling back to B. King still gets a frag back. Now they have to wait. They have a couple. Oh, they had a couple of ultis. But Zons lines up 3. All 3 players remaining for Noble. Try to go for the trade in that back line. But Zoms with 1 clip just keeps spraying, and they all walk into his crosshair.
I think the most interesting thing, at least in that post, was Noble not thinking that they should concede the site. You had a Hunter's Fury, you had Nanoswarms left over for King. I don't know why they didn't just decide to leave. You kind of overcommit, I think, to this fight as well. Dapper, a really lucky running second headshot there to give the lead, obviously, to Sentinels. But man, Zoms, you picked them off one by one, and unfortunately, Noble, that should have been yours. You had the utility, you had everything going for you, but Sentinels, they somehow make it work. 8 rounds in a row now, 8-2. Noble, it's a much more weakened buy, but the max loss bonus is definitely helping them out. But look at how many rounds that have been defusals, 6 of them for Sentinels. So Noble, they're getting onto the site, but they are struggling with these post plants.
Zoms, he's been a menace in this position already, and Menace around the corner could just be able to take down his namesake, and there you go! Sweeps up both, but Zekin actually catches 2 off the Hunter's Fury. Tens around the corner, almost a collateral. Takes down Precision. Jangler looking for the peak, but he looks around the corner in perfect timing. Dapper goes down. Noble have control, at least at this site thus far, but they have to watch out. First of all for Sick, and Tens in such a volatile position. He tries to run away, and goes the spray. Sick comes in at a perfect time. Blaze Wall covers up, curveball out. Zekin now playing cat and mouse, ring around the rosy with a
Oh!
10 strokes down. Oh my god, the heart attack from Zekin. He had to actually get it, but Sick still in shorts. Goes for the fake plant. Sick is out, and he spots him. Wonderful from Zekin. Bounces in. No, the shock dart doesn't take him down. Plant is still in. Now he has some time to deal with. Sick. Sticking around. Curveball out. He's inching out, and Zekin gets it. Noble finally take one back after their initial spurt at the very beginning of the game, and it was laborious to say the least.
Cool, that's what you want from your youngin. Zekin pulls up a massive clutch to give Noble some hope in this first half. An 8-3 scoreline isn't pretty, but if they can minimize the damage, bring it to 8-4, this is a very doable game here. I mean, this was the play that I thought would have been the closer, but Zekin, dude, a huge double hunter series. That's what you expect from the likes of maybe BCJ, one of the better Sovas in North America, and Zekin, when things are tight, when you need an insane play, he pulls it off. That doubles hunter fear really set them up, and now Noble, they are feeling it. They've got a little bit more momentum on their side. The Tens has got all this control down towards mid. However, an alarm bot is surely going to help King out here.
Just this position from King. It already catches a lot of Sentinels off guard. You can already start to tell how a lot of their flanks have been going in on that short A side, and it comes up big as now King can heal up with precision.
Oh,
again!
Nice. That's clean from Menace, and the big thing is you've taken down the flank, you've taken down the Phoenix. Both the entries for the Sentinels retake are gone, and Noble have got 3 ults to work with, and this cutting of noise, they've got confidence it's going to be an A hit with the Seekers coming out. It's all about delaying here and a little bit of damage onto Zombs, but still, Noble, 45 seconds left. They are really taking their time, and they've decided to cancel. They know Dapper's on a late flank, so they might have to rework the C site. I think ultimately, might have to go back into B here.
They already know that there's 2 on site too because of the Seekers. Well done from Precision, even getting that information. So Noble doubling back, and Sentinels, they are going to split the pulls. 1 on each site for right now. And Dapper, this is going to be a massive challenge for him as the Cosmic Divide goes up, his camera goes down with a cage up front. He wants to take this on right as the cage is still up, and Jangler takes him down. Dapper was the linchpin.
So nearly we've seen Dapper kind of do so many insane plays like that, just spraying through cages, spraying through smokes, finding incredible doubles. But Noble, those first 2 picks I think were a little bit overwhelming. Really well done on the lurk setup from King to catch off Tens on the push, and to even get the shot from Menace as well. Able to find Sick on that late flank as well. So Noble, they ended on a high note. They end it with 2 rounds in a row. The momentum is surely going to be on your side, but again, it was a really good half for the Sentinels. The retakes were on point. Noble were struggling with the post plants. We'll have to see what happens here in the defense, as it is Noble's at least favorite side.
And there was a lot of conditioning involved too, especially with that last round. Noble wasn't exactly, you know, especially when it came to the A pushes, they didn't really have anyone towards that sniper's area really watching out for that flank. And Sentinels, they got more comfortable actually going for that flank. So Noble, off of their defaults and adjusting back to an A site setup, getting those first 2 picks, massive for the team. But going back towards this defensive setup now, Sully, what are we supposed to really look out for in terms of that util? Because now we see the Astra come out to play.
Right, I think we're hoping at least Noble with kind of I kind of call it a double Sentinel. I really do treat Astra as kind of another Sentinel you can have in your back pocket, right? To be able to activate stars from anywhere across the map. It should be a pretty strong lockdown, and the Sky and the Sova util should also overwhelm, but Precision, he is sure to go down here. There's just too much around him. It's just Menace in the backside.
It's just Menace in the back line. No, you got a turret in the back line. Menace actually able to pick up 2. A couple of right clicks, and it works out, just equalizing the man advantage. Shock dart bouncing in. The plant's not going to be able to go down, but both shock darts have been expended now for Noble. Sentinels still have full advantage of sight. Sick finally going for that plant, and Noble haven't made any moves yet.
Oh, there's even a start under Heaven to try and pull players out. So Dapper has got to go big on kind of this crunch position. Both the extremities have now been smoked off, and Dapper, he is good for 1, but Sick has been pulled away.
1 enemy remaining.
Been pulled away. Now he's vulnerable, down on a little bit of HP. Shazam still takes down Zekin, though. King now in a 1v2, and now he goes down to 38. Oh, okay, King! A massive first kill. Kind of pre-aiming towards the spot, but again, Shazam still sitting up on site. Good swing, well-timed. Noble not able to win out the all-important pistol round as now they go down in economy.
It's a little bit rough here again, Noble, after kind of ending on a really good note. 2 rounds in a row to lose the pistol, which looked to be going your way, right? The double Double right click from Menace as well on A. Definitely kind of, I think, bolstered at least my confidence for Noble in winning that round. But it's just pistols for them. They're not going to fully invest, which I think has got to be the right call. Thankfully, ending 8-4 gives you a little bit more of a cushion going into the second half. So they will have a bye going into the third round of the second half. But I think after that round, or when we get to that round, if they lose it, it's going to have to be do or die there.
Careful now.
It's a little bit slower for Sentinels too. They kind of see those pistols in that first place, but it's a little bit weirder for Noble too. They're essentially playing up on a CB stack. Very fast rotation between both spots. But Sentinels, I mean, this is good. They try to play default off the very beginning of the round, and it ends up working on their favor purely because they walk into the A site, all the information is there, and now Dapper is here to farm a little bit with that Spectre, able to get 2 in that back line. Precision in heaven with a kill with a classic. So that's 1 SMG down, but Sentinels, this is pretty easy breezy.
Especially if it does get a little bit dicey, you can always run back, or literally run back on 6, run it back. However, I don't think it needs to be expended here as he only has a Ghost. 4 versus 3, low HP on 1. Sick is going to dance around. So yeah, a nice cleanup here, I think, for Sentinels. It's all about maybe charging up those orbs. Menace is not going to escape. It's Tens who updrafted into heaven is going to close it out. 10-4 Sentinels, and this is the round that I think if Snowball end up losing it, it is do or die here, at least for map number 1. They have the guns, but they won't have the credits after.
No, absolutely not. It's going to be almost an untoppable force. Sentinels, if they win this one out, it's too free because their economy for Noble, they're going to have to get reset. They focus on pistols on 11, then they go back on 12, 12-4. It's a scoreline that we rarely ever see the comeback from unless your name is Xset, honestly. But even then, just going back to this last round, Sully, I mean, Sentinels, they might be actually feeling a little bit more free towards this attacking side. I felt as if their rotations were very instinctual, very reactionary, but now that they're more able to kind of be flexible, now they can play around their own individual actions off the default that they do actually tend to go off the attacking side of Haven. I'm actually kind of excited to see how Sentinels can even counteract Noble and some of these kind of crazy stacks, and how their defaults can actually facilitate some easy plays.
Right, and I think the best thing for Sentinels is that when you've got 5 players of such high skill, it's very easy to get opening picks in both teams. That's kind of where the success comes from, right? Noble, I mentioned earlier, like almost every rounder, the average is 20 seconds. They'll find a first pick, but they haven't been allotted any of those opportunities. So Sentinels, it's a tricky situation where they themselves need to find these opening picks, and they're going to try and do it off of a run it back, but they have been stumped here. Great util for Menace to delay the push and allow rotations to flood back in.
And Noble, they're going to go the full retake route, Sully. Sentinels, they're just going to expend as much util as possible as early on, just trying to clear up a couple of these choke points. But again, Noble is just not showing face.
No, they really want to try and play the numbers game here for the 5v5 retake. Stars have gone down. Nebula's out, but Sick is going to use a curveball. As soon as the moment arises, he's going to just burst out and surprise the heck out of Noble on this retake.
Oh my. I love that curveball off the bat, but again, Jungler still with that wide swing, and same thing with Dapper. This is what happens when you get the Nebulas in play. They're all covered up, but Sick around the corner, still waiting up. He even got headshotted through the box, still able to take that precision. Jungler, King, and Second, all getting kills at the same time from beyond the grave. Shazam gets another one, but it's a sweep up of the back choke points. Sentinels were too disciplined in actually fighting on Noble.
Right, and I think that was a predicament where maybe you need to try and fight a little bit more heavily. Tens went for some kind of crazy dash into sight, but there was no support because there was no one really holding any crossfires for him. And so Noble, who picked up the 5th round, that was probably the most important of this first map to at least keep the dream alive. They still stand a chance here. Sentinels, that was essentially their bonus, so they're still gonna have the rifles. And moving into round 4, it's gonna be a rifle v rifle round, and whatever attack pod Noble had, whatever they spoke about in that little break, definitely working out here, but can it continue to go? We know Sentinels to be a team that is so quick to adapt and so quick on their feet.
Early on. Sentinels still focusing up on actually the mid side. This B side interaction is going to be huge, but that's if they actually get a contact out of this. The double nanoswarm alongside the alarm bot is going to lead to a quick trap and a faster rotation.
Okay, but here's one thing that Sentinels have done just in case they need to escape is they've broken that turret in garage, so that's going to pull King to this side of the map. They know there's guaranteed going to be one there, and Sentinels, they aren't exactly looking to cancel. They know, I guess they can guess where most of these players are going to be, but with the silence here on B, things are a little bit uneasy. They anticipate, again, another player towards the garage side, but Sentinels not making a single sound. Spike will be tapped to bait out the shock darts, and TenZ is going to look to punish.
Oh, and a quick dash right out of there, too. Love that from TenZ. No chance for a trade whatsoever, but Sentinels immediately doubling back to C, and the paranoia to back up the back lane. 35 seconds left. Sentinels going to be able to get that spike down.
Spike down, and they've got 5 players to work with.
left.
Noble, it's a little bit of a trickier one. Obviously, you still have the guiding lights, and Menace, we know how good he can be with this last pack and the showstopper, but nothing from it. Dapper is even a very, very late flank, but Precision, precise as ever, is going to shut him down to put us on even footing.
Okay, that's huge. So now Sentinels, they have to play up a couple of players towards that long area, and they don't even have a hunter theory. It's just going to lead out to the post play. And Menace! One on top, one below. It doesn't matter. TenZ and Sick both go down to Menace. And now both players for Sentinels are isolated towards the long side. Zalms would have shot onto Menace. Still, the Nebula is going up, and King just waltzes his way into long, taking down both Zalms and Shazam. Noble have themselves a 6th, and around that certainly could not have been theirs, but Noble, really, with a couple of individual plays, open things up.
Right, and the re-exec from Sentinels back into see if they're ensuring that they would have garage control by breaking that turret. Noble, it is so calm and collected, right? There aren't a team that's just going to rush in, and that grab well as well. Dude, that messed up Sentinels so hard, and it gave it a great opportunity for Noble to find those kills. Very calm from Noble on that retake, and I mean, if you have a calm head, you have a cool mind, those retakes, as hot as they can be, are going to be nothing to the touch.
Get out of my way.
It's gonna be tough now, Sully, because now look at Noble. Very early on, going even for a grab pull. This could actually leave Precision a little bit of a lane for a couple of kills, but still wants to stay disciplined with that boom bot even getting more information. Don't really know if that was the right move either, because I think we had a conversation a couple of days ago. Boombot being used as an information play might not be all too optimal sometimes.
Yeah, I think in this instance, it isn't necessarily an info play. It's kind of a distraction, right? You want to position and maybe get a little bit more aggressive, take an early peek. And yeah, when we had that conversation with Veli, he said that having the Boombot in like an intense retake position to have that be able to one-shot you is really scary. So now that that's been removed from play, it's a little bit of a weaker A site. So I think, again, if the site were to be taken here by Sentinels, it's going to be Noble again, playing that kind of cool, collected set of retake position. But this is the site where I think they've struggled the most in retakes, and we're only a couple rounds into this half. So Sentinels, I think they've chosen the right site. However, all of this information, yet nobody is pulling from Noble. They still think this could be a fake.
The Seekers all spotted out players towards long, though, and finally the plant goes in. Man is still stuck in heaven, and they know that because of TenZ. But Noble, like you mentioned, going for a very long-winded retake of this, and the lockdown is going to facilitate that even more, driving Sentinels away from even playing up those initial choke points, except for the long area. Sick. Ends up going for the frag. That pull could have locked down a couple of players, could have detained a couple, but nothing's going to go down. Instead, Sick now off to run it back.
No
Gets the headshot, and
way!
he gets 2. He only has 22 HP, Sully. How does he do it? King, he ends up getting 3 kills on his own over towards shorts, but Sick, mission accomplished.
That is the X factor in any single round that Sentinels are at a disadvantage. When Sick is on a run it back, quite literally anything is possible, and Sick does it again. His run it back usage is, I mean, this is just crazy. The first kill is absurd. He's just literally running and gunning, and Sick to find 4 as well in that post plant. That is some hero stuff right there. And Noble, that is a kick to the gut right there. They are now, they're in one of the worst positions I think they could have been. They had all the momentum. They had the credits, Gus, and now they've got nothing.
They have absolutely nothing, Sully. All they have is manpower, which they've grouped up towards that mid side, and they're not able to find anything. This C site's open for business.
Right, the idea, I guess, is to play retake, but you have no lockdown. So you have a decent flank from Precision. Dapper watching it, but Sick again is going to do it to them. A double here from Tens as they work their way in the garage, and that should be the closer. A 2v4 retake, and Dapper with that late lurk, it's just down to Precision. A 1v4, and Sentinels have got themselves on to 12.
Last step now for Sentinels here on Haven.
Match point.
And one more step to Iceland. It's a little bit awkward too to even talk about Haven in this sense, because there's not a lot of positives to take away for Noble out of this. I'll be completely honest. In the past, we've seen Haven be such a volatile pick for Noble, and it's almost been all too uncomfortable. I think in the next map, we're going to see something a whole lot more collected. I think one thing that we can take away as a positive has just been the individual fragging prowess and kind of the communication and the hustle. I'm loving the rotations thus far. I'm loving the utility usage from Noble, but to try to take on Sentinels, it's going to have to come down to the initial entry points, which they are simply not winning out here on this defensive side.
And that economic strain is definitely starting to pile on here, especially in this last round. Doggo is having a little bit of fun, trying to bait out a couple of shots. Dapper, it's a bait and switch, but Menace, he's really got to hit his shots here. And the character model sticks out a little bit.
Give me a cookie.
And right in the backpack. Hate to see it. Not only that, but Dapper.
Oh,
Now he doesn't even need the ulti. Drive through the cage, and he takes down Precision. Oh, that is gutting for Noble. Still two more players in this back line. Zekin trying to line up Dapper. Dapper even gets a shot on top of the wall, jumping. Oh, King gets one back. You have Zekin looking out for the frag. Hunter's Fury hits in. The Cosmic Divide alongside a couple of Nebulas right on site, but the spike will be able to go down on A. Oh, this is just pure chaos.
Oh, yeah, Zombs is giving it a TP. No, he's not. Jangler.
No, he's not.
Oh, they can stick this. They can most certainly stick this. The Cosmic Divide is still up. Shock darts will go through, but is it going to be enough? Jangler, the timing. No, down before it closes out, and it's King in a 1v2.
And only 38 HP to go. So tough. This is all too open, but he still takes down Shazam off the contact, but Tens slowly but surely getting out that last op shot.